and they're negating them completely on these flood maps and creating a fictitious fear for people of around, certainly around our area for the Mississippi River. We're a part of the Mississippi River and Tributaries Project, which provides a level of protection that exceeds what FEMA's wanting.
But that's always, I mean, the feds don't want development in many areas. They want to be able to control it. It's part of the rewilding project. And I've seen the numbers. I've had congressmen on to cover it. But most of the money that FEMA gets is used for COG, continuity of government, shadow government type stuff. So we also, I need to understand that a lot of this flood money is going to other stuff.
Right, and I'm not familiar exactly where FEMA's money goes, but I can tell you that the expansion of these floodplains and the redefining of these floodplains and the redefining of the risks that actually exist will put billions of dollars in FEMA's bank account. And so this is an expansion of a system that this just clearly is a scam, because you have FEMA who is setting the limits. They're setting the standards, and they're the ones requiring it. So you have all three entities under one roof.
And they're the ones getting the money.
That is correct. That is correct, regardless of where you purchase this flood insurance. And this will destroy economic development in a number of areas across this country. And I want to read you something.
Well, that's where everybody wants to live, is on a river or a lake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is all part of floodplain management that was put out. This is from an excerpt out of the '93 flood report, which was written to extend floodplain management and to explain floodplain management. And basically, what it does is it states that people need to be moved from floodplains and need to be moved to higher ground. And what they're doing is they are redefining floodplains to extend into 40% of this country.
Let's be clear. That is, let's come back and talk more about that in the final segment. That is so massive, a total takeover, and they're saying we don't want you living here. And it's like the Wetlands Act, where a pool, a puddle on your ranch, now you can't run cattle there. They tried that. We finally defeated most of that. It's a giant power grab. 40% of the country, your new landlord, your new boss, is FEMA if we don't beat this. Stay there, sir.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
That's right. There is a war on for your mind. We're talking to Bob Rash, and he's the chief engineer of the Levee District in his area of Arkansas. Now, again, I'm no expert on this, but I've read over it over the years, and correct me if I'm wrong, until a few decades ago, you really couldn't get flood insurance from a private company, private insurance company, if you were in danger of flooding and you just needed to build your house and have it on stilts and know that. You know, it's freedom. It's America. But now FEMA underwrites it. So basically you just go into an insurance company. They're like a broker or like a title company when you buy a house, and they get a little piece of it, and it goes to FEMA, and then the government's saying you got to buy this from us. This is mafia.
Well, and just so you know, on a $100,000 home, you're going to spend about $1,200 a year. On a $250,000 home, you're going to spend about $2,600 a year per person. And so this is being used. This is being used as a deterrent.
It's a federal property tax.
That's correct. It's a targeted tax. Is all that it is. It's a targeted tax, and FEMA is utilizing it because they underwrite the flood insurance policies. They are masking it with a warning people of the risk, and they are overstating every risk that they place on these flood maps in an effort to recoup money.
Amazing. I mean, like I said earlier, I know people who are up on hilltops, and they're getting these letters in Travis County saying, look, your insurance is going up.
Right. And that will happen throughout this country, Alex. There are a number, as I said, there will be 40% of the population of this country that will be affected by this. And the federal government FEMA is not warning people they're not warning people of earthquakes, they're not warning people of wind damage, they're not warning people of tornadoes, because they don't underwrite insurance policies for those items. They're warning people of a fictitious risk of flooding in areas that don't need to be required to buy flood insurance.
Well, going back to the point in closing that you tried to make as we hit that break, this is all based, you said, on this 93 document, and I've seen that document before. Go back over that document where they're saying that the real move is to basically force people out of these areas.
That is correct. The 93 flood report, which is named Sharing the Challenge, it recommends people move out of designated areas, which FEMA now has begun designating these areas, but they use this as a deterrent for economic development or for any type of development in these, quote, floodplains. However, the problem is that FEMA is redefining these floodplains. They're redefining floodplains and ignoring improvements that have been made through the years with both federal money and local money, and they are not acknowledging these flood control structures, and they are requiring areas. They are renaming areas a floodplain and requiring flood insurance because of it. And it is written into the 21st century and the sharing the challenge in the 93 flood report, and it states very clearly to use strict use regulations by communities to stop unwise development. The problem is that FEMA is defining these unwise developmental areas.
No, this isn't even federal tyranny. This is just an agency out of control, and they're taking over everything. They're training the police. This is a criminal operation. We appreciate your courage and what you've been doing, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Alex, and I appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Well, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. And he was at a candidate forum for Congress people. He's not running for Congress. We need people like Mr. Rash to run for Congress. We've got to get control of FEMA. I mean, come on. That's why I made the film, Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA. And we cover it all in here. I mean, this is the shadow government coming out of the shadows and just taking over everything. This is the group merging the military and police and training the military for gun confiscation. This is the group building the FEMA camps. This is the group saying they're going to force you out of your houses. We'll be right back.